Okay, hello guys. Welcome to Alvin 211 Media. Uh, we are very delighted for your support. The way you are really doing it is very awesome. Today we have brought to you our one of our activists. Is Mathiang Manasseh. Is an activist and also artist. As you can see, it's a T-shirt. It's written Giga. So in Arabic it means justice, right? Truth. Yeah. So we are very delighted to be with him. He's a man of truth, as you can see. He speaks frankly. He's very honest about way of life. How are you, Mathiang?
Hey, I'm good, brother.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. This is Alvin 211 Media. Yeah. So we have actually looked for you for some days, times. We have wanted to share with you many things. You can also share with us as youth. Yeah. So, how long have you been doing this?
Thank you.
Being an artist and at the same time activist.
Thank you. And before I continue, I like to tell the rest. You see, the secret of getting me is to look for coffee. I'm very easy to find if you
with the coffee.
If you offer me coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for that. Yeah. So I have been a musician, a recording artist since 2004. Where I actually started my activism through that, through music, and from there I started being more serious in coming up with initiatives that also go hand in hand with the music that I do.
Yeah.
And my mission is to ensure that I use my art to inspire and mobilize the young people to become active citizens, people who are loyal to the country and loyal to be part of the change and the development that our country needs. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's wonderful. We have very rare people in South Sudan who can do that. Actually, rare, I can say it that way. Since you've started this one, what is that? What is guiding your choice of action as an artist or maybe activist?
Well, my love for my country and my love for my family and the hope that I have for the future.
Yeah.
I grew up in Kenya as a refugee, and all these years I've been looking forward to home. And when we got our independence at home, I made a personal declaration to myself that I will be a part of those that play a huge role in building the country.
Sure.
So when I see things going wrong, I cannot just sit by and watch things go by.
Yeah.
In your home, in your house, in your bedroom, where you sleep at night, you have the power to choose how your environment looks like,
Indeed.
how your environment is going to be.
Yeah.
So you have a choice when you wake up in the morning to make your bed, to ensure the room is neat,
It's clean.
to make sure that it is swept well, that is fresh air, so that when you come in the evening you're comfortable.
Yeah.
You also have the same with the garden and everything. You have there are things that are in our sphere of control, and there are those that are in our sphere of influence.
Yeah.
So as for me, I believe South Sudan is our home. And South Sudan being our home, it is our responsibility to decide how our environment in South Sudan is going to be. So if we want our environment to be comfortable for us, we will work hard to ensure that it's happening. But then now we need to ask ourselves as South Sudanese, are we comfortable? Are we comfortable in South Sudan? And why are we not comfortable? What is this thing that we need to fix as a people? Nobody from outside is going to fix it. What is this thing that we need to fix? And if we identify what are those things we need to fix, we need to work hard to ensure that we fix it. We need to be responsible enough to fix that. So as for me, I believe that my drive is to ensure that we, as the citizens, fix our country. And if there is anything that's hindering our drive to fix the country, we need to deal with it. That is my drive.
So you started this thing. Was there anyone behind it, or it just came from you? Are you doing it as a group, or it's as an individual?
One thing I do not like in South Sudan is that any initiative that is brought up by young people, there is a belief that there is someone or some people behind it. It is just like an assumption that the youth cannot think. So there is this is one of the challenges that young youth initiatives and the youth in South Sudan are facing, because there is this belief that the young people cannot think, young people cannot bring up initiatives. I want to challenge us this way, and I want to challenge your viewers the same. Anyanya revolution was started by young people. This SPLA revolution, these leaders that we have right now, when they started this, they were young, they were youth, young people, right? There was no one behind them. It is their drive for the country, and that's why they did it. Why is it different from our generations? Why is it different that for us there has to be someone or something behind us? For me, what is behind me is my love for my country and my love for my children. Because I grew up in a foreign land, I don't want my children to grow up that way. I want my children to enjoy South Sudan. I want my cousins, I want my nephews, I want my nieces to be able to grow up in South Sudan happy, enjoy home, learn and compete with the rest of the world. Children in the rest of the, let's say for example in East Africa, in Kenya for example, children as young as class 1 are being taught computer. In South Sudan you learn computer before you're going to university. That you cannot compete. And then look at most parts of the country right now, with the poor education that we have, a very few percentage of children are actually going to school. Where I come from, for example, I'm from Unity State, I'm from Koch County. And from there I know for a fact that our children are not going to school, right? And if there are some few schools, those schools are pathetic to the highest standard of patheticness, you know. So what is our role to ensure that the future is safe for us? Because if our children are not going to school, how safe is our future? Can I look, for example, when the conflict erupted in 2013, there are some young men, for example, who were 13 years old then. 10 years down the line, they are still inside the POC. How old are they now? 23 years. 23 right now. Just stuck in the POC. No hope.
No hope at all.
So how will these children compete with children who are going to school in other parts of the world? And for me, that is painful to me. That disturbs me. And for that reason, I continue with my activism. I continue to push to ensure that our future is safe. Every man, as long as you're a man, as long as you're a human being, you feel that you have a responsibility to ensure that your children and your family are safe, right?
Safe, yeah.
The security of your family is not just for today, it's also in the future.
For the future,
and that's why in your house you want to build a big fence, you want to bring dogs or something, because you want their security now and the future to be safe. I want my children's future to be safe. And for my children's future to be safe, we have to ensure that the environment is correct. But right now, if we see things are just going bad and then we keep quiet, our children will blame us. Our children will blame us. I don't know if you have kids. But if you
I have kids.
If you have kids, I don't know how old your kids are. But if you don't do anything with this channel, this beautiful gift of a channel that you have, if you don't bring more people who are going to speak up in the future, when your children cannot compete with children in the rest of the world, they will blame you. What did you do to ensure that my environment is okay for me to enjoy safe and to stay safe in our country? So that is what is behind me. To answer your question.
It's very wonderful, actually. It's very nice. Regarding the song that you just released, we have watched it. South Sudanese actually, they have seen it. We have seen what you talked about. But most of us, actually, most who are in refugee camps, those who are in Kenya, and those who are outside the country, some of them don't understand it, right? Yeah, some of them don't understand it because it's like it's deep inside the state, and yeah, we can understand it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me explain.
Yeah.
First of all, what I released was not a song. It was an intro story of my album, which I'm releasing on 20th of May.
Okay.
Which has 11 songs.
Okay.
So it was a story about Hagiga, the album. And it was a story that brings up the context in which my album is written.
Yeah.
And in that story, I actually talked about one issue that is keeping people from talking the truth. As you said, Hagiga is truth.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to do with Hagiga is to encourage young people to speak their truth, to speak what is right, to ensure that things move. And in that video, I talked about what is this thing that is hindering the people from speaking the truth.
Yeah.
And that is fear. My brother, in South Sudan right now, there are some names, if you want to mention, you will first of all look around you, who is near you first. Try to look at the phone of the person you're talking to, if he is recording or not, before you mention and speak up your mind. That is happening in South Sudan right now. If you want to talk about something simple like the government is not providing us good roads, you'll have to first of all think very critically, analyze who is this person you're talking to.
Yeah.
Even if it's your brother, sometimes you'll want this one. Is he?
You don't even trust them.
Is he recording me or you know? I don't know. And that is what's happening in South Sudan. And you find that even South Sudanese, when they go outside South Sudan, like me when I came here in Kenya, by the way I'm in Nairobi. Yeah. When I came here in Kenya, sometimes when it reaches almost dark, I start having anxiety. Perhaps it's time for me to start going home. You know, because I'm used to, by 7 p.m. when it's dark, I want to be in the house. That is fear.
Yeah.
That is not the life we want to live in South Sudan. So what I was encouraging my people is that, we have the power to break that fear. We have the power to ensure that our environment is safe and we are happy and we smile. People want to be happy in the country, right? But people are not happy. People are not happy. Now. Yes, people are not happy because people are hungry. People are not happy because people are angry. There is hungry. There is angry.
There's anger.
People are sad. Yeah. People are depressed. People are stressed. Life is blocked, and then people are afraid.
Yeah.
So with all this, you find that life is very difficult. Life is not fun to enjoy. You find children are always angry. Everybody is always angry. You cannot leave the house, go to your place of work without seeing people fight. People are fighting. People are insulting each other. Everywhere people are angry. And again, as I mentioned earlier, that is our environment. South Sudan is our home. If in your home you see a rat run, will you just say, that is a rat? No, you will find a way to look for that rat and deal with that rat.
Yeah, sure.
There are several rats that are making our life difficult. There's a lot of there's a lot of bad things that are happening. There's rats like poor health system.
Yeah.
There's rats like mismanagement of funds. There is rats like poor education system. There is rats like poor management of our environment and our natural resources.
Yeah, sure.
There are rats like leakages in the oil field that is killing our women and children. There are rats, like poor governance system. There are rats like the civil servants not getting paid. There's so many rats running around everywhere. There's rats. How are we going to do with that? Are we going to allow things to go bad, or are we going to fix it? Are we going to say, okay, khalas, it's enough, this time we have to find a way to ensure that Juba city is clean? Or are we going to allow Juba to continue being dirty the way, and then we just say, Mahal Shai, ya salam, this thing is dirty? No, we have to fix what's going wrong, and it's our responsibility.
Okay, thank you. I think as a good citizen, or as a patriotic citizen, you can make a choice. You can choose what is good for you in the near future, or maybe in the present. You go with what is better with you in the next generation. I'm very sure you understand that being an activist in most part of the world, or maybe in Africa, it's not easy. Most of these people, being an activist, sometimes you might end up being persecuted or what. You can be harmed. Are you not afraid of that?
First of all, being an activist is not a crime. An activist is not a criminal. That is the first most important thing we need to put across. An activist is not a criminal, and doing activism is not a crime.
It's not a crime,
actually. It is encouraged in our constitution. Our constitution encourages freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, freedom of association. Very good things that the constitution encourages us. So the constitution encourages us to be activists, to be active citizens. So for me, I am very delighted, I'm very happy, I'm very proud to be an activist, because I know it is the right thing to do. And what does an activist do? An activist is just there to ensure that you point out at things that, in the society we need to fix, which is a good thing for the people. And that is why I am very excited about it.
Okay.
And I have no concern about being an activist or not. And for your information, I am not an activist as a profession. I'm not an activist. This is not in action dollar. Mafi dollar for activism. Actually, as you say, there are many challenges. Many challenges. You will not become rich as an activist. So I do it because of my passion and love for my country.
Okay. Thank you. That's very wonderful. So what is the fear of being an activist? Apart from all those things, what is the fear of being an activist? Though it's like you're doing voluntarily, right? Because you're not getting anything from them.
Let me explain something. When you, for example, this coffee that's in front of you.
Yeah.
If you taste it and you realize that perhaps too much coffee was put in it, and you raise that, there is too much coffee that is put there, somebody might lose their job, for example. So at the end of the day, there are some people, as much as we are doing very good things, there are some people who will definitely be unhappy. And for that, you find that worldwide, activists may face a lot of challenges. However, in a society where there is a rule of law, activists feel much more safer to do their work. But in a country like ours, South Sudan, where rule of law is not respected, you find that the lives of the activists is always in danger. You walk around and you are always trying to survey the environment. Before you pick a phone call, you decide, before you're invited by somebody that you don't know for you to go, you ask yourself so many questions about that environment.
Yeah, sure.
you ask yourself, am I being trapped to be taken or what? You're always paranoid. But then also there are fruits of activism. Sometimes you advocate for something and you see direct impact that change the lives of people. You like when it comes to when there was violence, when there was war in Addis Ababa, people do not know the role that activists played. The civil society played a huge role in putting sense in the table. And you find that many times when there is some policies that need to be placed in the country, activists are the ones who are the first people to pinpoint and try to work with legislators to develop correct policies.
Yeah, sure.
So at the end of the day, as much as there are challenges, what overpowers the challenges is the impact. What overpowers the risks? The impact is the opportunities of a better future for people. So that is what I want to focus on.
Okay. Thank you very much. You know, in a country like South Sudan, it actually sometimes gives you that fear that you can't say anything. You can't go confront maybe the government or like confront any wrong thing that's being done. You know, that's why we were asking that question and maybe trying to get actually what it means being an activist.
However, you can say something. You can say it is not correct that you can't say anything. You can say. However, yes, because as I said earlier, the Constitution allows us to say. It is our country. If we don't say anything, who will say anything? You know, it is for us to say if things are not going right. However, yes, I do understand that there are fears because we have seen cases of people who have said something and they cannot say anything else because they are inside prison or something. However, if more and more of us continue speaking, the government will be very fast to act on what we are saying. We have seen cases where people have spoken. We have seen in Bor when the civil servants protested in large number, very fast the answers were given to them. We have seen in Jamajuba when Professor John Akech mobilized the lecturers and they protested, they got the answer very fast. So my brother, and even us, we have seen so many times. We protest something and we see responses very quickly. And let me tell you people, there is power in the social media. Remember there was a time when there was rumors in the social media that our president had passed on. Because of those real rumors and the fear that those rumors created, the president had to move around Juba town to prove to all of us that, hey, my people, I am alive. And it is the same social media who took those photos of the president going around that people now believed,
he's alive.
And there's so many cases that you see the power in the social media. You young people in Nairobi, in Uganda, in America, in Kakuma refugee camp, they do not know the powers that you have with your devices. You do not know how much power you have. And with this power, you can make South Sudan a better place. And that's why with this Hagiga revolution that I profess, what I tell people is that every person, every South Sudanese has power. We have power. And when we work together, South Sudanese, we make South Sudan a better place and we'll enjoy.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. We have known a lot right now. We are learning. And thank you. Now, when you try to focus on the youth in South Sudan, the young change makers, right? So, how do you think that you're important to them? You and your movement, the things that you do.
I'm trying to see how I can answer this question. The thing is, the best way I can answer to me is how I feel the young people are important to the cause that preaching.
Yeah.
Because I believe in numbers. I believe in organizing. I believe that as the young people of South Sudan, the young people of South Sudan who make up 79%, I mean 72% of the population have power. They have a lot of power.
Yeah, sure.
But I also do see that the young people do not know this power that they have. And I feel that I have I have the capacity as an influential young person. I'm not a youth anymore. I overpassed that age group.
Stage, sure.
But I am still young.
Yeah.
And as a young person, I believe I can influence. And I will want to influence as many young people as possible to be active citizens, to know their capacity, know their strength, to be able to make South Sudan a better place.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. This is Manasseh, as I told you before. And if you want to know him, you can just follow up with him in his social media, in YouTube. I think you have that YouTube channel.
Yes, I do. And I would also like to tell your listeners, on the 20th of May, the album Hagiga will be dropping in all platforms. You can stream it everywhere.
Okay.
You TikTok it, you YouTube it, you Facebook it,
Okay. That's very wonderful.
Apple Music, everything, you will get it.
Okay.
And help me pass these messages around.
Yeah, sure.
Shukran. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Do not forget to subscribe. We will have him on 30th. He's releasing the album Hagika, as you have seen there. So stay tuned and welcome again. Thank you.